Good afternoon. Welcome to our webinar. This is a beginner website training for those of you who are new to the grant or have not used the website too much. I wanted to give you an overview of how to upload your deliverables and attendance so you can get paid, essentially. I'm Sarah Lynn Grass, and I have here today Sheila Woodruff, who is the Lead Program Development Specialist, and Melissa Evenson, who is the Lead Compliance Monitor. And they're going to walk you through how to upload those deliverables and attendance, as well as a little bit more about the monitoring, quality, and improvement tool. So, take it away.
So the first thing we're going to do is log in here to the website. And so you'll want to, if you haven't been here yet before, you're going to sign into 21stcclc.flchild.com. Okay. And you should see this opening screen if you haven't logged in yet. Everyone should have their logins now, I believe. So we'll just log in real quickly. And basically today we're just going to look, like Sarah Lynn was saying, spend some time looking at the attendance reporting procedure and then at the deliverables. We're going to start with the deliverables. And you won't have all these tabs on your screen, so don't worry if you can't see them all. This is an administrator level login. But you should have deliverables and the deliverables tab here. And when you pull yours up, it should look like this. And you're going to select your particular grant. And I'm going to choose the test grant so that I don't single anyone out today. And you'll choose this year. Okay. And this will pull up quite a lot of information. Some of it, it's always good to review this to make sure that it's accurate for you. Project number, this is how the Department of Financial Services knows that they're looking at the correct grant. So it's helpful if you make sure that that's right, just to keep tabs on us. Well, what we're going to spend the most time looking at are the bold deliverable sections. This is kind of the most important thing right now as we're working to get all of these uploaded. And we'll go ahead and look at January. The goal is to have all your deliverables uploaded by the 15th of the following month. So since we just finished January, these deliverables should be uploaded by February 15th if at all possible. This is true for your attendance as well. So under the deliverables for January, you'll see the different deliverables that are required. A few of these are only for January, and then these others are for each month. And so we're not going to go into great depth about all the deliverables for the year, but I just wanted to show you how to follow the procedure to upload things correctly. And so you'll notice here we've already got a few things uploaded. So let's look first at the mid-year data reporting spreadsheet. Since that was due, you should already have yours posted here. As you'll notice, I have a few items that I'm going to delete so we can start from scratch. Okay, so the important thing here is this up arrow button. This will pull up a file upload box. If you're not able to see this box, or if you select one of the items here and it takes a long time to load, it could be that your browser is outdated. And so always make sure you're using the most current version of Firefox. That's the easiest browser to use with this website, or the most current version of Internet Explorer. I believe if you're using anything older than 7, so less than 7, you're going to have a difficult time getting all your deliverables uploaded correctly. But once you have this box, all you do is you search through your documents to find the folders where you keep all your 21st century information. And I'm going to go ahead and choose the staff bios. Okay. You'll upload as many documents as you need to prove that you completed this deliverable effectively. So since we had bios and then we did edits to our bios, we'll put both of these on here to show that we had some changes. Okay? And you'll notice this is the link. If we wanted to download the file, we could. And it also shows you the date that it was uploaded as well as the time. And that's really helpful for us to know when the deliverables were uploaded and for you to make sure that they're being done in a timely fashion if you're, say, the manager and having a site coordinator upload these. If you want to delete these, as I just showed you, just hit the red X. It'll ask if you're sure, and you click OK, and it will go away. All right? Okay. There are a couple other things in this box here. These zeros you're welcome to use internally if you'd like to, but they don't have any bearing at the state level. It's really just for internal use, but this is the amount that you've requested, the amount that you've requested for that month and the amount that was approved. Again, this won't show up anywhere in the state records. This is just for your own use if you'd like to use it. Also with these check boxes, these won't stay checked for you, so don't worry about whether or not they're checking off. Okay? All right, so with each month, you might look at a deliverable and ask what you should upload to make sure that you fulfilled it. Above each month are the instructions for all the deliverables for that particular month. So for sign-in sheets and documentation to support adult family literacy, you'll scroll up here and you'll see sign-in sheets and documentation to support adult family literacy. And if you read it, it'll explain a little bit about what you should have done as the program and what sort of documentation you need to show that you had these items, had these meetings. Right? And as you read down through the middle, it gives you specific information, like documentation should include a schedule of all adult family member events and classes, parent sign-in sheets, activity agendas, etc. And then it gives bold information, agendas and sign-in sheets must be clearly labeled as a 21st CCLC event, etc. It's really important that you read through these directions as you're uploading documents. If any of this is missing, for a particular deliverable of specific items like this that are bolded or missing, what happens is your program specialist or someone at the Florida Department of Education will contact you asking for more specific information. And any time we have to contact you for more information, especially those of you on reimbursement, it can slow down your reimbursement process because it technically is not complete yet. So we want to make sure that you get paid as quickly as possible. So it's in your best interest if, one, you can get these uploaded by the 15th of the following month, and two, that you read through the directions to make sure that they're as complete as they can be. And like I said before, you can upload as many documents as you need to fulfill this. So if you had, let's say, a flyer and then a separate sign-in sheet, you could upload those as two separate documents. That's not a problem. And I don't believe there's a limit currently to how much you can upload. Although the larger the file, if you have a super huge PDF, a couple of gigs, it does take a long time to upload, so it's better if they're in smaller, more manageable files. Okay. Anything else on this page that's relevant? Sure. Required deliverables. So these are for every month. Excuse me. If we go back to January, the instructions for January only show these couple items. The rest of the months are the rest of the deliverables are all described up here. We'll look at the project plan in more depth in just a second. We'll also look at monthly attendance reports in a second. Student attendance lists. This is a list of all the students who are enrolled at your program and every day of that month. And it's usually an Excel spreadsheet showing X's or 1's for the days that children attended. So it's a calculation of all the days of all the kids. Okay. The project plan, the directions are here, and the plan itself can be found right up here. We're going to click on that so we can take a look at it. Okay, so this is the project plan that we recommend using anytime you start a new project. For those of you who are new, you're obviously implementing project-based learning with your students at your site, and so this should be a fairly easy document to fill out. Feel free to use it as best suits your needs, so whether you fill one out for each grade level grouping, or if you do just one per site for the overall arching project, that's fine. You're going to go through and fill these out. We try to be pretty clear with what you're going to include in each little box here. And then there's a sample down below if you just want some ideas about what it might look like. So this project plan is the big picture, what you're going to do for the duration of the project. Most projects tend to be about 9 weeks. And so you'll fill out this project plan at the beginning of that 9-week period. Let's say September 1st, since that was the first day that many of you were active for your programs. So for September's deliverable, you would upload the project plan. Now, since this is going to go for 9 weeks, when you hit October, you're going to upload this update. You don't have a new project yet. It's the same project, so it's an update. Same thing for November. You're finishing up that first project, so you'll upload the update form. Okay? All right, and this basically just gives us an overview again, so you can copy and paste some of the information from the original plan. And then you're just explaining anything that's changed pretty much. Any curriculum that you've revised or your week-by-week outlines, things that have changed because of student interest or questions they've asked that have led to kind of an offshoot project. Whatever makes a difference here in project-based learning, you're going to put. Okay. So again, that's kind of a brief overview. I'm sure there'll be more questions about that form. Please feel free to contact your program development specialist about that or any of the other deliverables that just still don't seem clear after you've read through the instructions. But again, we tried to be as detailed as we could be here, so I would take a look at those instructions where possible before you contact your specialist. All right. So the other thing I wanted to point out was this monthly attendance report. You don't have to upload anything here. This is going to come directly from the attendance page, which you'll find here. So again, you go to reporting, attendance, and monthly. And you'll select your center. Obviously, you need to put your attendance in for each center each month by the 15th. And generally, what happens is you'll pull up the current month. So since we're actively in February, it pulls up our attendance for this month. You'll notice a bunch of the dates are grayed out. This is because they've yet to come. Obviously, today is Thursday the 7th, so I could enter my after-school attendance for today. But I can't enter in tomorrow's attendance because I don't know how many students we're going to have yet for tomorrow. It's important once you get to the end of a month that you also that you click this Finalize Month button. If I click it now, you'll see it tells me that I need to enter values for 36 empty cells. And if you kind of look behind, you'll notice some of these are blue. Those are the empty cells that they're talking about. So I can't finalize this until the month is over. Let's look at January. So January, I went through and I entered all my attendance for every day. I also entered the number of hours that we operated for every day. These should be the actual number of hours. So for example, if you have a day where school let out early and you started your program earlier than normal, you could put 5 hours because of the early release time instead of 3. So these should be actual hours. Once you're all done with this, like I said, you'll click on this blue box. Right now it's red because I've already finalized it. But you'll click on that box. It'll tell you the date that it was finalized and who finalized it. If it's still blue, it's not been submitted, okay, and it's going to show up as late. So please make sure that you finalize this. When you click on that blue box, it'll ask you, are you sure you want to certify the data? You'll click OK, and it'll ask you one more time, are you sure you want to finalize the data? Once finalized, you can't make any changes. And so just double check, make sure the numbers are right, and click OK. It's not the end of the world. If you do finalize it and you notice later that there was an error, we can go back and make corrections, but it's a lot easier, obviously, to do it on the front end. Okay, so that is attendance at Shell. Another item that's kind of helpful is this attendance averages. Excuse me. This page is something that the Department of Financial Services and FDOE and our staff looks at because the average daily attendance is generally how our programs are funded. We look at the number of students who were proposed, which shows up down here. Now again, I'm on the test grant. We should have more than 0 students proposed, but looks at the number of students that you've proposed, and it compares it to the number of students who actually were in the program, and it provides a actual daily average. So I didn't enter attendance for September for December. That's why it's 0. And these are my daily averages for the months of January and February. Up here, it calculates the overall average daily attendance for the year. And if you had summer, it would have a summer component here, and if you had before school, it would also have a before school component here. Okay? And you've probably seen the risk level key before, but anything is low risk if it's 85% to 100% or more of what you intended to serve. It's a medium risk if it's less than 85%. This is where we start to consider reducing funds for programs who have chronically low attendance. And then it's high risk, and high and medium can also put you at risk of greater risk of monitoring. It's part of the risk assessment for the monitoring piece. So that's helpful. If you want to see how you're doing, it's there. And then there are just some basic instructions for how to use this page. If you have any questions, don't quite remember how to do it, and how to finalize each item, that information is right there for you. Now this page is tied directly to another page on the website. So if you're noticing, say, you didn't actually operate on Wednesday, February 6th because that was a teacher planning day, then you should know that it's connected to this page, 2012-13 RFP RFA, Grant Sections, Operations. And this you'll work with your program specialist to correct. So go here, you pick your site, and it will show you the schedule of all the days that you're supposed to be open with the site, whether they're weekend holidays, if they're red, they're a summer program day, or they're after school. Okay, and I said that February 6th, Wednesday, was a teacher planning day, so we didn't have the program. But it says here that we were open. So I would work with my program specialist who can go in here and make the change for me. Right. So now down here you can see that it's closed. And when I go back to my attendance, for Center B, for February, you'll see that it jumps from Tuesday to Thursday. There's no more Wednesday since we removed it online. Okay, so if you notice there are any incorrect dates here, it's probably because the operations page needs to be updated, and you'll need to let us know. We do have a form if you're making closures that you didn't anticipate, and we just ask that you make those up with similar days. So if you close an after-school day, you'd open an after-school day. If you close a weekend holiday, you would open a different weekend holiday so that there's enough time for students to get their full dosage of 21st CCLC activities. And I think that's all I have. Like I said, if you have specific questions about deliverables, please feel free to contact your program director. Your program development specialist, and they can give you a little bit more information. And if you have questions about the invoicing process in general, there are a number of people that you can contact. So please let us know. We'll be willing to and able to set you up with those resources.
Okay, now we're going to turn it over to the monitoring and quality improvement tool piece. This can be found under the reporting. Go down to monitoring and click on MQIT. Okay, most of you have submitted this already, but for those of you that have not or that have some further questions, here's some training on it. We're going to be using the test grant. Please make sure to look over the FDOE provider letter, read the instructions. I'm going to be going over the submission section and a couple of the components. Let's start with component A. What you will need to do is read the compliance requirements, choose your evidence of compliance for those requirements. It can be one or it can be all of them, but make sure you have this documentation that we will be able to ask you for. So make sure you have it. Don't just check everything if you don't have it. And then choose a performance level that you believe best fits. In this case, if you click compliant or excelling, you will not have to put in a date of completion. Date of completion comes when you're working towards compliance, and we want to discuss with you when you think you will be able to complete that. So please put in a date. If you go down a little bit, some of the boxes will have an other, and you'll be able to put in whatever you need to specify. In this case, we need to go to the submission. And I just need to reverse this so I can work with it. Okay. Moving on to component B. Same thing as component A, you're filling in your evidence of compliance and one performance level. However, when you get down to B11, it will be procurement standards. And this is a text box that you'll have to type in an answer. So when I type in something, this little save icon will actually be blinking yellow, just like this one up here. That means that you need to click that to save the written text. If you do not click it and you move on to something else, it will not be saved. So make sure it's clicked and it's no longer blinking yellow. You need to do that for every text box. There's also on the side another performance level for all of the procurement questions. Make sure you choose the one that best fits your agency. Component C and D are similar to component A. Now after you complete components A through D, just as I was talking about, you will be able to submit. As you can see, my submit button has now been highlighted and I can click on it and submit my report. However, let me show you that you will not be able to submit. Say for instance, this performance level was not clicked. You didn't have anything in here. Then actually, you would not be able to submit to the FDOE. What you would get instead is it would tell you which component is not completed and how many sections are not completed within that component. So it would show up right here, and that's where you need to look. Find out which component you need to go back to and complete. In some cases, the evidence of compliance will have an NA at the bottom here. And if you click that, you still need to click a performance level. So please keep that in mind. So here you're able to submit to FDOE. Once you do that, it'll ask you twice, are you sure you want to do this? You cannot go back. So make sure you have everything clicked that you want to click. And then once it's submitted, you'll be able to export the report. The last page of the export report will be a certification page. That certification page needs to be signed by the agency head, and it needs to be uploaded back to this website. So here's the document that you just completed. We'll go down to the last page. And it should pre-populate everything in here. Right here is where your agency head needs a signature and a date. Once that is complete, you will be able to upload the report right here. It doesn't highlight it right now because I haven't submitted. So once I submit, now I'm able to upload the signature page. One thing to be aware of, when you're working in component B and you're typing in answers to these text boxes, be careful if you need to copy and paste from Word. Sometimes when it pastes in this website, you will get some funny symbols, and that may not allow you to submit or export the report. And it may turn into gibberish depending on what was pasted. So please review all of your answers, and we recommend that you just type them in and not paste from Word. Okay? Make sure to submit before you export your report. So once it's submitted, then we know it's complete. Once you submit, we will get an email confirmation, and you will get an email confirmation saying that it has been submitted. One last thing. The signed final page, the certification page, will need to be sent to the Department of Education at this address. And that should complete your monitoring and quality improvement tool. If you have any questions, please contact myself, Melissa Evenson, or our other compliance monitor, Lynn Comer. I'll turn it back over to Sarah Lynn.
All right, thanks so much for joining us today. I think that's all we have. And like we said, if you have more questions about the monitoring tool, please contact the monitoring team. If you have questions about the deliverables or the attendance, please contact your program development specialist. As we've said before, we're really happy to be here and happy to support you in this new effort. So hope you have a great weekend. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.